Hey, Stephen.
Hey, Lauren, can you hear
Hey,
me?
I can hear you.
Awesome.
Uh, it works. It works.
It works.
It
So
works.
technically, people are seeing us talking live,
Right.
although I
I'll
haven't
behave.
shared the link that much yet.
I will
So.
behave.
Okay, I'll try to as well.
But I don't promise. So everybody that's in the group that's talking, their voices will be captured also. Mm,
I have no idea. I
yeah. Okay.
presume as much. Yeah, I think.
And the reason I'm asking is I have a colleague that we work together at iTEC. We're 50-50, working on this together. And so she's here too, and she was going to share about a couple of the projects that she's worked with, been the one that has worked in that area. But if that's going to be a possible problem, I can, we've said if it's easier for me to just do the talking, we can do that too.
Yeah, no, I think this is one of these things where it's just live, whoever's talking. Now, a person can join the broadcast without joining the Hangout, is my understanding.
Okay.
But right now we
Okay.
have zero. So we are two participants, but we have
Okay.
zero viewers.
So do you want me to give you, how do you extend, how are you going to extend that to other people? Because we can ask, she's at the island, so we can give her the link
Sure.
and let her join and see what happens? Or is that what people are going to do? They're going to click the link and join? Or, yeah.
I'm hoping that they'll come in world, and then we just have
Hmm.
this as voice in the background. And what I'll do
Right.
eventually is share my screen. So let me come back here and
Okay.
get the sharing link again. least that was my
It's an
intent.
experiment. It's an experiment.
And this, I think, is being recorded. So one thing
Okay.
that we can do is actually save this in some way. If it ends up being a relatively small number of people, then we can just share it like this.
Sure. Sure. Sounds good.
Okay, I put
Sounds
the
good.
link in local chat, so maybe Lori will join us.
Okay. And I think she's hearing because we were just talking in World, so I think she can hear.
Oh, so you have your voice on in World at the same time?
I do, and I should turn it off because there'll be a problem? Probably.
Uh,
Conflict?
Only if there's someone in World who's actually able to hear voice. That would be my guess. That's
Okay.
the only potential problem.
Okay, so as long as so I'll turn it off because there's no need for it. I don't know why I did that.
I presume Lori can hear you right now in World, so maybe that was.
Unless she was out of her office.
Ah.
Getting a cup. I could peek out there. She's in the office suite here, so I could check on her and make sure she's there. Um, let me go round her up.
Okay.
So she had it prompted her to install a plugin, so she'll be here
Okay.
she'll be joining momentarily.
Okay, sounds good. Now, there's supposed to be a way for people to just watch this and not actually
Have to.
have to get that plugin. I don't know. I just don't know how this works.
Right, right. So we haven't heard back from our person yet, but I apologize, the person that hosts the servers, and I apologize for you being the guinea pig. That's a bad word, but for you having to do the trial version of our problems with hypergrid.
Well, that's hypergridding is a whole new business, and
It is.
yeah, once you
And
add a new thing, you never know what's going to happen.
that's true. That's true. And we really have done almost everything just here. In fact, our people that we get that get it and will work with their kids really don't have time. We want them to explore. We want them to be passionate. They have a whole class of students, and they have what they need to do at night, and their extra time is taken. And we really have, except for a few people, we've not been able to get them exploring. So they stay on the grid mostly.
Okay. Well, you told me a while ago that you direct them to Vibe. I noticed on your webpage you have Vibe as an option for them to visit.
We do. In fact, we go there during our teaching and learning in virtual environments class. We go, we look for examples to go look at things, and so we come to Vibe when we can. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
And
you
we
were there.
appreciate you letting us do that.
Oh, sure. You were there for the Genome Island tour we had recently, right? Were you there?
I don't think
Science Circle?
so.
That was mostly advertised through Science Circle.
Okay, okay. I have been, this has been a crazy summer and this is just kind of a little side thing that we do. We're both we're instructional technology teachers. We're assigned at the district level. We've got many schools we're assigned to specifically, and there were just a lot of new initiatives this summer and had a hard time concentrating on what we've wanted to get to here. It's just, I know you know. I know you know. So, so I haven't been in World very much, and I feel bad that I haven't. We got to meet up with folks at ISTE this summer. Again, love it when you can meet people in person. And I tell you, I was a little bit out of it because I hadn't been to things. Things have kind of shifted, and part of it with us leaving Second Life, we're a little bit disconnected, and we kind of have a different audience. We have a different age we work with.
Yeah, so that's one thing I'm hoping you can cover a little bit about is what some of the student experiences are and which ones you target and all that.
Okay. We'll definitely talk about that, and definitely entertain any questions and we don't. We've got some experience. We don't necessarily have all the answers. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I think touching a little bit on the balancing act you have to pay as a technologist. That's a big part of it as well. Okay, we have one avatar coming in. You know Kim Anubis from Second Life?
I recognize the name. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think I've seen her name, but I don't know that I've. Say hi here.
Okay. She's coming in from Kylie.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
I hear her.
Oh, okay. I am here then. I wasn't sure I was.
You're here.
I had an error message that said that my microphone wasn't working, so I didn't realize I was even able to be heard. That's good.
Well, we can hear you, so behave also.
I'll try to behave. I don't know. That's not our specialty,
That pink tree is a problem. It may have to go. It's in the way of everything. There actually is less activity at this island than on the other islands, and we're going to go later on up into up to the classroom, where we spend more time, not on the main level.
Hi, Kim.
I'm not sure.
She's not in Hangout yet, I think.
Yeah, let me get her into the Hangout.
Yeah.
Well, I thought there'd be one more person from, at least one more person from Hypergrid Safari here. But let me go advertise really quick in that group.
Okay. Okay.
I thought I put a link in there. Yeah, and I'll at some point I'll set this to share my singularity, so we're not looking at me typing and looking around.
Okay. It's okay. I'm looking at at Second Life. No, I'm not. I'm looking at. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Open
yeah,
Sim, so I'm
you're
not
doing
even.
great.
Yeah, I'm.
I don't feel bad. So my collaborators still every once in a while get it took them a while
Well,
to
you
not
know,
get confused sometimes.
and for the longest time, we still had our PD Island in Second Life. We had it there for 5 years, and we started students over here. That's what started that, because we had elementary people that wanted in on it. We had a high school island in Second Life, and really we had some elementary teachers that wanted in. So we started over here, and it really got kind of confusing then, which is why we just made the move over here so they weren't in two places.
So you decided to just say no more second.
We did. And you know what? We used to have to sit with principals and explain everything to them and ask permission, and you got the looks, and to assure them that it was locked down and all. We don't have to do any of that with OpenSim. This is just an immersive environment. It's just that nobody even really knows what it is. It's okay.
Right. Right. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna. Let's see if anybody else is on Vibe, and I'll be right back. But I'm
Okay.
gonna stay in the Google Hangout.
Okay.
And if no one else is going to join us, then I'd say we should just go ahead and.
And get started.
Yeah. I mean, I presume in the final product, I can crop out the beginning where we're just chatting.
I think you can.
Guess we'll find out.
I know they do a lot of editing in the WOW group. They record I sure hope they do, because I've been at some things where I hope that was edited out.
One would presume. Yeah, Spiff Whitfield did a really well. Andrew Wheelock did a really nice tour of one of our OpenSim grids, the Nova Archaeology, and that first attempt didn't go so well, but the second one went pretty well.
Cool.
All right, let me see if there's anyone else here. All right. Well,
Is Kim able to hear?
not sure yet. Well, I meant to double check with her. I have her in Skype. Let me see if she's not.
Okay. Maybe she's not a Google person.
Well, she has kind of an odd internet situation, so some things act a little bit goofy with her.
Okay.
I'm going to double check with her in Skype if she's able to hear you in World, because if she can, she doesn't really need to join the Google Hangout.
Right. Okay.
Wait, Lori, you're still there?
I am still here.
Okay. And your last name in real life is also Weedo, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, just checking.
You never know.
That's right, because my last name is not Zootfly in real life.
We're carrying some of that Second Life identity with us. It's hard to let go of that. We become that person.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a brand in a sense. You kind of have this virtual avatar brand.
And people know you by that.
Yeah, that's Kim Anubis. She took a break from Second Life for a little while, and she knows people almost only by their avatar name, because that's where she primarily interacted with them. If you guys don't know her, while we're just waiting one last minute, see if she can get in here. Let me give you her company page.
Okay, great.
Actually managed to type it. There we go. I mistyped it. would think it would not be that hard to type magician.
Oh, she got the plug-in request. Yeah. She's trying to get in Hangout.
Well, you know, the thing, I didn't know how to do a Google Hangout on air. I looked up some some videos that were tutorials. Mm-hmm. None of them had the right instructions for how to actually start one.
You know, oh, she's with Global Kids.
Yeah.
Was she working with them back in the days when they were in Second Life doing things?
Yeah, I think she was one of the, I don't know how much of the build she did for them, but she was one of the primary builders.
Cool.
Hello.
Kim,
hey.
welcome.
I think I made it.
Yay! Hey, Kim.
Thank you all for your patience.
Thank you. I'm sorry we've got this little thing going on. We are new to Hypergrid. We've been a closed grid, and we finally got this PD island that we could open up and then keep our student islands closed by groups. But we obviously don't have the bugs worked out because, I don't know, the voice is not working, but the voice works okay for the people that we create avatars on this grid, but it's not working, and we didn't know that.
Well, I was going to say, don't feel bad because one of the biggest commercial grids out there, Kitely, seems to be having the same problem.
Really?
And in addition, the OSCC grid last night, we had a new region, and Vivox was acting very weird for it. We had some people able to connect and others not. So it wasn't a configuration setting for us. It was something that Vivox had weird going on. So I think, I thought there were going to be at least a couple Hypergrid Safari people coming in, but this just might be it. So I think we should get started. Okay. We can save a video for posterity. What I'll do is just give a quick introduction to the event, and then I'll let you guys take it away.
Okay.
So let me get it shared to the screen first. Let me find a good thing to focus on. Okay, I know. I'll do a little bit of a zoom in. All right, give me just a minute.
Okay. Kim, there's a box up here behind Lori. If you click on it, you'll get a note card that will help with the landmarks. It's right.
Oh, there.
Right over here.
Touch for the note card.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Are you guys able to see my singularity in the Hangout now?
Let me get to
or is
it.
it showing?
Yes, I see it.
You do? Okay, perfect. All right, so I'll just give a quick introduction. Oh, something. You are present to everyone. Okay. All right, so I'm Stephen Gager, Stephen Zootfly in the Metaverse, and this is a first-time event for our Vibe presentation series. We are going to do a screen share, and we are visiting today the immersive technology of Escambia County, which is in Pensacola, Florida. Our host today, we're going to visit their OpenSim grid. This is their OpenSim grid, and our host today will be Lauren Thurman and Lori Weedo, who are also on voice and will be watching the action in Singularity on their grid, but they'll be doing the voice here in the Hangout. So I say really happy to have this opportunity where your grid is being opened up for the first time to the Hypergrid for these types of tours, and really looking forward to hearing about what you do with high school, middle school students in your district. So take it away. Thank you very much.
Great. Stephen, we're so glad finally to be able to have people come and visit us. It's been kind of a lonely place. We were in Second Life before where we could interact with educators, but because we have students that are K through, actually second grade through 12th graders that have been here, we have to have a little bit more of a closed grid, and so it's exciting to finally be able to, we hope to have more events where we can collaborate with educators. So you are here on our main island, the Professional Development Island. Just as a little bit of intro about our school district, we have been, as I said, we had an island in Second Life for 5 years called Sleek Island, which we just moved over here just during the summer. And for a couple of years, we had a island called Tech Island in Second Life for 13 students age 13 and older, and it was a closed grid, and it worked very well for us. But because teachers of younger students saw it and they wanted a place to do some things, that's when we first came here to OpenSim. And we are hosted by Dreamland Metaverse, so we're not taking care of our own servers, but it's worked very well for us. And as we began to do some of the professional development that we did, we'll talk about that in a minute, getting teachers ready to work with kids, we realized that to have them in Second Life to learn, and then over here to work with their students, they were having to have 2 different avatars, remember the different usernames, passwords. If they weren't here a lot and weren't really bonding with that, it was a bit confusing. So we decided to slowly make the migration over here. We have 5 islands. This is a professional development island. We have an elementary, a middle, and a high school island, and then a school, an elementary school, that wanted their own island. So they are paying for their own island, hosting it in the grid, and there are some plans for some other schools to do that also. Great when we're sharing the islands, the projects have to go away. They have to poof, so there's land for others to use it, and it's ideal when there can be space that teachers can start kids in slowly in the beginning of the school year with building skills, and when it's appropriate, that working in OpenSim can be a choice that they can use rather than doing some other kind of technology project. They could have the choice to do that. So throughout the year, so it's great for them. So we're going to just let me just we'll look out front here in the porch and tell you that we've got several different meeting areas here, and in the past we created this just like Sleek, because in the past we had a large meeting area where we have hosted and probably will host again sometime for our teachers when we have our annual technology event. Generally it's later in the spring. We've also hosted a virtual one where we've been able to invite people to come in that are working with projects and share with our teachers. It's so powerful when they can listen to what other people are doing in other districts. And so that's something we may do here again, but we have a lot of small areas, small meeting areas, because we have used the island for technology learning groups that meet every 2 weeks so they can meet virtually. We've used it for instance, we're going to do a project-based learning course that will meet once a week for 8 weeks long. That will start in October. We did that previously and it's been requested again. So they're really not learning to build in OpenSim. They're using it as a place to meet after hours from home. And other things that we have had are a book study. Every year we do a book study and we hang out at the tree house out back for the book study. And again, been able to have people come in and sometimes even an author of the book and talk with us, and they just were able to do that from home. Very powerful.
Oh, that's great. That's a great experience.
Yeah, that has been good. This year we're doing, gosh, what is the book that we're doing? Untangling the Web. And I met Steve Dembo and Adam Bellows this summer, and we're hoping they're fun guys. I think we can make them an avatar and they will come. You know, for an hour one night, it would be great, and I think they would enjoy it. They're that type of people. Something that we do regularly in getting teachers okay, so as we have these events and teachers see what students have done, we share that at our end of the year. We have a digital showcase where we have students showing all kinds of technology they've done, an in-person event. We also, that's a place where we have them showcase things they've done here in World. So that really that really builds during the summer for some teachers that will want to take the Teaching and Learning in Virtual Environments course that is a requirement to take before you can work with students in this world. And so rather than us walk around this island, the PD island, and show it, we've given you lots of links in the note card for the different areas, but rather than do that, because it's open and you can come here at any time, we're going to go ahead and teleport up to the link that says Teaching and Learning in Virtual Environments Classroom, and that's above the island here, so that we can take a look at where we do that course and talk about that for just a minute.
Okay, great. Let me just interject one thing really quick, since
Okay.
this is going to be open all the time. I'm going to
Yes.
state the hypergrid address for anybody watching. It's hg.itecsd.us:8042:ITEC, then space PD. So that's great. I didn't know this part was going to be open on a permanent basis.
Yes, the PD island is, we have the student islands open today, but then we'll close them again, of course. But if someone wanted to visit, they could send us an email or get in touch with us, and we'd be glad to take them there to take a look.
Great. Well, I'll meet you at the classroom.
See you up there.
That's the headquarters link, correct?
I'll TP you from radar.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that lands at headquarters.
There we go.
Wow.
Okay, so when teachers sign up for this classroom, someone land on your head.
Sorry about those
for
hills.
this class. It's a 12-hour class. We generally meet the first day face-to-face. We tried doing it a couple different ways. We tried just meeting face-to-face for a couple hours to make sure everybody got on and got their voice okay, and then did everything else, the other next 5 sessions, in 2-hour sessions virtually. And we had better success when we spent a day, a 6-hour day together, and made sure everybody really had a good grasp. And so during that time frame, we explore some different areas. We talk about why you would want to do this. We talk about what we see with students, the engagement, the increased level of achievement and understanding, the way that they can express that they're getting the concepts that are being taught, but definitely the engagement. And we go out and we visit some different examples together. And then we take them through a process that we take the students through. We do some building, and it includes, it's a little bit odd, but they build a rug, they build a table, they build a lamp. And by doing those 3 things, they learn to use almost all of the tools in the building box. They learn how to duplicate things and link things, and then you give them some time to use those skills. The kids take off with it in a heartbeat. The teachers take a little bit longer. But we want them to get it. We've also, with the little ones, started making animals instead of a table and duplicating the 4 legs of the animals. And so we work on beginning building. We work on scripting, loading presentation boards, and then over there in the far corner, there is some different examples of curriculum kits, a way for a teacher to set up a box that has all the resources with, so you've loaded up with the scripts, you've loaded up with a note card, you've loaded it up with the everything that they would need, and yet giving them choice so they're not just doing cookie cutter things. And once they've gone through some of that, then they can, they're empowered to break loose and kind of do some things on their own. But that's what we do with the teachers. When they finish that course, then they can join the Teaching and Learning Virtual Environment Learning Community, and we meet once a month here on the island to tour what other teachers are doing, to share ideas, to refresh skills, to learn about new things. Sometimes we hypergrid out when we find something that's awesome to look at. We go to places like Vibe and some of the cool places out there to remember and to get inspired. So when they finish that, then the next step would be for them to, when they're we encourage it to not be an after-school club, but we encourage it to be a part of their curriculum, and that they're just giving some choice and doing things in a different, allowing students to do things in a different way. And so there is a planning form that we have them fill out, so that we know what curriculum area they're working on, how we can help them, what kind of resources they'll need. And we go and we meet with their principal at the school and their tech coordinator, because of course we need their help to load the viewer on their machines. Are they going to have laptops? Are they going to be in a lab? What kind of support do they need from us? And then we partner with them during the time that they do their project. Sometimes both of us can be there, sometimes one or the other. Sometimes the teacher is very strong and doesn't need us there all the time. So it's very different in every situation. Sometimes they've got a long time to work on it. Sometimes they're fighting for lab space, lots of different circumstances. So that's kind of what we do with the Teaching and Learning Virtual Environments course.
Wow, what great resources you're offering. That's really cool.
Offering that type of organized faculty development is that pretty unique? Do you know of anybody else who does quite that amount of stuff?
If there are other people doing and there are other people doing what we're doing, I think we just are in closed grids and enclosed worlds, and we don't know about each other. So I really don't know what people are doing out there. This has kind of been a process that we built. Actually, Seminole County has a grid in Second Life, and we partnered with them some in Second Life or just kind of shared ideas, and they are doing a lot of this. Their island is SCPS, Seminole County Public Schools in Place. SCPS Place in Second Life, and there is a public island, and then there were 8 islands. 2 of them were open to visit, and the other 6 were closed for students. So they were following this model. They do some things during summer school. I love it with students. Those are the times when you can kind of break the traditional day and allow some things, and it's a great place to start to provide practice for a teacher managing those kind of projects.
Okay, great. Well, okay. Yeah, let's see what you have some of your teachers do up here.
Okay, you want to walk around up here? Or you want to go to the island?
At least one loop around. Let's take a loop around and see what,
let's
what
take
this
a
is
loop
like.
around. Okay, we generally start over here to the left. On the first day, they start with some building. And we've learned with students, to give them a building pad. We learned that in a hurry. We had one teacher that wanted to, she had a rubric of things that the kids had to do every day, and if they didn't do it, they got a grade. Either they did it or they didn't do it, and it was really hard in the playground area to figure out who had what. So we learned in a hurry to put some building pads down, and they had to stay on their pad. So they didn't get huge, there were some limits, and they could find their things.
Yeah, pads, and if you put some textures and directions on that pad directly, seem to be a good way to go. I've done that for assessments.
Yeah. Okay.
I see lots of wooden stuff
this is just some beginning as we're learning. Yeah, this is the very beginning, the first day where they're learning to even do some things. So here's where they're learning to make a rug, to make a table, to make a lamp. And we give them these directions in note cards here in World, and then they take them to their building pad and create them. Sometimes we've done it as homework at night, because we give them in service hours for this, and so we give them extra hour of work for every hour they're here, and we're able to give them points for that.
Oh, great.
Don't have stipend money, but we do have points.
I like those blue ribbons.
Like the blue ribbons. We had to recognize that they, got some things done. Even teachers like a badge,
That's true.
Now, these are teachers up here.
It might seem like a little thing, but that sort of thing makes such a difference. A virtual award for your virtual progress. That's true. So, of course, they learn how to do their PowerPoint board. And we encourage kids, we teach kids how to do a PowerPoint board too, or a media board, and encourage them to make them small
and to plug them into their, if they're doing a biome and they've got a rock, you can push that into the rock, and it's information in a part of your area that you built.
Cool. So it's a 12-hour course, and by the end of 12 hours, every teacher is pretty much familiar with how to do everything they need to do, you think?
They're pretty overwhelmed by the end of the 12 hours. Because it's a lot it's a lot. And by the fourth day, they're kind of going, ooh, and we try to laugh, and we try to say, it's okay, and we're going to keep practicing in our learning community meetings, and that this doesn't go away up here. That's why it's kind of a mess. We just leave everything out until we do another course, and that they can come up by here and practice again, and we don't give this link up here to anybody that's not in the class. If somebody, a teacher that's just there for a book study or whatever that wants to explore, they can play in the sandbox downstairs. This is the teacher's, kind of the teacher lounge.
Okay.
So in these curriculum kits, like there's some tangram pieces that go with a literature story, grandfather's tangrams, and there's a solar system kit, and just some examples of how they might want to put something together. Here's something, some examples of if they were doing some different literary type things, the idioms, and so just some examples so that they can just get an idea of how they could use it in their everyday curriculum.
Perfect. So then a lot of the creativity of the actual curriculum is up to the individual teacher.
It is, because we tell them that we partner, that they are the experts of their curriculum. We have some technology ideas, but we're partnering with them.
Excellent.
Okay, you ready to go down island?
Yes.
Let's go to where it says iTEC ES Elementary School. Let's go to the orientation area, that very first landmark.
Okay, so for the middle school or the elementary school?
This is for let's start at the elementary.
Okay.
Yep. So we're underground here.
Oh, yeah, 22 meters.
We're inside the fort. We have a lot of forts in Pensacola on the water, so this kind of looks like one of our forts. This was our first island in OpenSim. It was our only one we used because the elementary were the ones that were really wanting to do some creating. Lori's going to guide us here a little bit because it's been a teacher that she has worked with that's done some work here.
Okay, great.
So I'll be quiet.
This is where, of course, the students first entered, and they came in to do an orientation. So we have an orientation area, I think Lauren mentioned, in all the on all the islands, and that's the first thing that we have the students do is go through all the orientation boards to kind of get familiar with how you use, the OpenSim. So let's see. I'm trying to figure out which door we go out. Lauren, is it? Let me look and see. Hang on one second.
Let's go.
Is it out the building?
I think if we go out the scripting room here.
The scripting room? Okay. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little lost.
And if not, we'll fly a little bit.
Okay, just to set up, we're going to go look right now at, this was one of our first projects with one of our elementary teachers. She's a media specialist. And let's see, if we come right over here, this is kind of the start. One of our elementary schools. And the project was based on a grant that the media specialist was able to get, Laura Bush grant, where she was able to get some books to go into her library, and they were all books about countries. So she had each student decide which country that they were going to represent, and then each student then did research. They read their book, and we gave them separate areas. In fact, the media specialist got very creative, and she built fences around each area that was representative of the country that the students were going to be researching. And so just walking through here, you'll see various builds that are a lot like whatever country the student, and actually they partnered. There were probably 2 to 3 kids in a group, and these were all 4th and 5th graders. We had, and it was an after-school club. We wanted there to be a variation in the grade levels so that we kept some of the 4th graders who then were mentors the following year to help some other students that came in. And so, because she has continued to have this after-school club. And they're probably about, I think there were around 12 to 14 students originally. There may have been a few that had to leave the school for various reasons and didn't stay. So, but we had probably on average maybe 10 students here working on this after school club, 4th and 5th graders. But if you want to walk around, one of the things that she had them do, part of the criteria was each one has a little paw, and if you click on the paw, it should, if the students did what they were supposed to do, part of what they were supposed to do was if you click on it, you will learn about what the students researched, and the students all did their own note cards and put their own note cards in the boxes, and you might see some spelling typos and whatnot because it came directly from them. But and so this whole area, if you want to walk around or fly around and look at the different areas, this was all built by the students. Everything you see here except for the fences.
Wow.
Yeah, they did a great job.
That's a bunch of engaged students
Lori,
there.
I think there were some I think there were some 3rd graders that year.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember there being any 3rd graders that year.
And I could be wrong.
I know they had. Yeah, I think there was one, or maybe 1 or 2. You're probably right, actually, because we still have. I think we still have a couple of those this year. This was created 2 years ago, I think.
Yep.
Wow, made their own pagoda.
Yeah, we taught them. That's one of the things that we taught them was how to do the alpha, where you take a photo and you and they tried to make it 3D, so they put several of them together.
Even a working waterfall. Wow, check that out.
So these are scripted for the textures, I presume, then, or is this an animated GIF?
That is
neat.
And everything you see here, like this little bridge, the colorful bridge, they actually have something identical to this. They tried to make it, or not identical, but they tried to make it look as real as they could for the Hans River Bridge.
Also called the Song Hand Bridge.
Yeah, that's right. They also on the other side, you'll see one of the things that they did, and they got very creative in their building. Is one of the rivers needed to be red, and so they were trying to figure out a way to do that without changing all the other parts of the rivers, and they figured out very quickly that they could put a prim down to make it look red. So they got very creative with their building and figuring things out and making things look like real life.
Wow. And you said there were 3rd graders, but also this is mostly 2nd graders?
A couple 3rd graders. No, the majority of the students for this build were 4th and 5th graders.
4th and 5th. Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
They
were
really good about helping each other.
Mm-hmm.
Really good about helping each other. When somebody figured something out, they knew who to go to. In the beginning, we were there a lot, and then after a while, sometimes we would be there virtually, and they could, send us an IM if they needed help, and that came less and less. They were figuring stuff out and helping each other.
Mm-hmm.
Are those Laura Bush grants still available? And were they something that were targeted for did you say they were a media type grant program?
Well, the media specialist is the one that applied for it, and I'm not sure. That's a good question. I'm not sure if it's still available or not.
And she purchased books, but she just wanted, you know, to pair it with a different way that it didn't have really anything to do with the virtual environment. That's something she partnered it with.
Apples look ugly but taste good. That's my motto for today.
This Red River, they did a nice job on it.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, I lost you. Where is the Red River?
Kind of
I'll
in the
find you.
corner. I can teleport
It's
you.
way down here. There's a green dome type building.
Well, I found Kim on radar.
Yeah, okay.
I rarely see anybody use that trick to tint the water. That's one that I like to do.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah, nicely done.
Oh, here's a glowy paw print. Oh, somebody got clever. Somebody got cute with their alphas.
Yep, they love it when they love the glow. Sometimes it makes it hard to even read or see. So, and their avatars, it was funny. When you brought in some furries, everybody wanted to be a furry, and they learned that they could make the furry, the tail and the ear. They could make them glow, and sometimes it was even hard to stand by them.
All right. Well, I think, is there anything else for the elementary school, or should we move on to the middle school?
Probably should move on. There's on the other side. There's another project, but you know, it has to do with the water cycle and the environment and the interaction, or the impact that what we do with our environment has on the water cycle. And it's the same type of thing. You know, it's I don't know if you know or not that, and Lori, I'm sorry, this is, if you want, but all this water down here was not here until we had a flood last spring in Pensacola. We had a lot of rain. In fact, we missed 3 days of school because of flooding, and they came back in here. This had nothing to do with the project, except that it had to do with the water cycle, and they flooded this area.
Oh, okay. So finding a way to conceptualize and think about real life events.
That's really
doing it in
cool.
the virtual world. That's neat.
Yeah.
And I like the rainbow. It's nice to always have a rainbow.
Oh, I see a whale jumping over here.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's stuff in the sky. I'm sorry, I didn't notice this earlier. What's this?
That's the we've started
cloud.
putting to conserve space. We say when they need something, they'll say, I need this, I need that. And so we'll go out and look for things, and we put it in the cloud. And they'll say, did you get this or did you get that? And we'll say, look in the cloud. We put it in the cloud. And those are things that they can take a copy of and can use. So
Okay.
you'll see that at the other islands too. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Literal
great.
virtual cloud.
All kinds of good stuff here.
Yeah, virtual cloud. Yeah, yeah. And then down below, real quick, and then we'll move on. There is we have a rocket down there, and this is something that we created. We created a virtual solar system. So there's the planets, you know, all the planets up above that they can teleport from. And it was just when we were having a hard time finding examples. We something in the beginning we built to show for our teachers to go through when they were doing the class. And so that's when the kids love that. Click on the rocket and you go to the virtual solar system. And some of our a few of our classes that we have guest avatars they use. They're little aliens, and they go on a fact-finding tour. You know, and they have to answer 3 questions at each planet, and then they have to share 3 new things and fun things that they learned, and then they move on to the next one. And so that's something that a certain school, a certain teacher that we worked with is using.
Are the quizzes in world? Do they come up in local chat where they answer them, or is it something they
They
do on
do
the web?
not. They do not. And I would like. We had that when we were over at Tech Island in Second Life, and we've wanted to look at those scripts and kind of see if we could use them here, and we just haven't gotten to that.
Yeah, the Islands of
That
Enlightenment
would
has a
that would
King's
be-
Quest where they have quizzes
Yes.
integrated where you do the word recognition.
And we know Andy. We should ask him about what he's using, because I'm sure he would share.
Right-click and teleport. I can teleport to Saturn?
Really? That's great.
Oh, here I am. Wow.
Did you go?
I did.
You went
I'm all
to
the way up
sun?
here. Well, I went to Saturn.
Okay. Okay.
I picked the kingly one, Roman mythology, the king.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the rocket.
Yeah.
Neat. All right, yeah, let's move on to the middle school. We're hitting
Okay.
2:48.
Yep.
We can go a little bit late, but I'd like to keep this to close to an hour.
Let's go to middle school.
Awesome.
Kim, you have the note card?
Yes, I do. To the orientation,
Okay.
right?
Uh-huh. Yep. Lori, I will be quiet. I tend to jump in too
That's
much.
okay. Actually, right now, this is our middle school island, but we do not have. We have a project. I'm not sure if you're going to talk about the middle school project that you worked with over the summer, Lauren. But what this is Susopolis. It's one of our media specialists again, and she's also was the tech coordinator at the time too. At one of our elementary schools, and she created. She wanted a project based around other places we will go. The Dr. Seuss book, and so
Wonderful.
yeah, and so again we have the orientation right in the middle, and then if you click on the little center place to teleport, it takes you up to some projects where the students were responsible for building their areas. They had to decide what they were going to do as far as their place, and there had to be there was lots of criteria for each of the areas that they had to meet.
Neat.
So when you come up in, and I don't know if you zoomed out, but it's like it looks kind of like the Dr. Seuss, the big balloon. When you zoom out and where you're at, yeah.
I'm doing a pan out right now.
Yeah, she wanted to have it all inside of the big balloon. That was where all of their projects were. So.
That is huge. That's like, what, 100 meters in diameter?
It is huge, and some of them, as you can see, they came outside of the ball with some of their lovely creations. But yeah, they each had their own little platforms and had to create a place. And so they were supposed to create either a place that was real life kind of place, or they could also have a make believe place. And some of them did a little bit of both.
Which
it's
one
actually
are you
so
on?
high. You're in the clouds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's up in the clouds.
See some dinosaurs here. Look like velociraptors.
And then I guess if we wanted to go to, are we going to go to the second graders? Because that's also on the middle school, or are you ready to go ahead and go to the high school?
Let me grab a couple
No, we can go
more
look at
pictures
Okay.
of the platforms. I'll do a little bit of a flyby and around.
All right, and then we could pop over to the second grade like real quick. That was our first group of second graders. They did an awesome job creating an environment. Basically, now this group, the Susopolis, was fifth graders.
Fifth, okay, great. All right, so which landmark should I go to?
The habitats
The habitats.
under middle school.
I see it. Okay.
I see it.
Uh, I see grasslands.
Yeah, you'll have to look for the salamander is in one of the sections. It's really cute. That's one of the animals. That's where they first started realizing that they could make their own animals, and we made that part of what they were kind of needed to do, or for our future references.
We did give them a box that had things that they could use in their habitat, because it wasn't so much for them about creating, it was researching and putting a note card or a sign. And so we went ahead and gave them things that we could share for them to put in their area. So you'll see a lot of things that it's like, where did they get them? We gave them to them.
Yeah, but it's providing and asking them to put information
That's
in
about
context.
right, research and writing.
Yep. So
Right.
anytime you see a click here
Let me
on
see
an
if I can
animal
find the
or a
salamander.
dog, yeah, the salamander's over in the swamplands.
It's right here. It's right near me.
And I think that's
He's
the one
a
that
tiger
doesn't.
salamander.
Yeah, I don't think he got the. He originally, this was kind of interesting.
He doesn't have his note card in.
Well, the reason he doesn't, though, is because what they did was they would, this group had to take turns using the computers, and so sometimes one would create the item and then the other one would be working on the note card, and then so sometimes they had issues with trying to put something into someone else's item, object. So,
Right.
so the little boy that created the salamander, the tiger salamander, the little girl had done the note card. We didn't get around to finishing actually the part where you could copy and paste and then he could put the note card in for her. But that's what they did on most of their items. They put note cards in to share and say what the research was and show their content.
And interesting enough, kids in another group, in another elementary group, they learned that within the group you could, within your friendship, that you could give rights to your friend to modify and edit your objects, and then they could work together as long as your cooperative group was working well together. That was
that's
interesting.
True.
A lot of the interaction that goes on and the conversations, we talk about doing projects that are real world and that aren't just doing the same thing that we would do if we were in the classroom with, a PowerPoint, that we want to do some things that explore and discuss real world issues. And a lot of times this doesn't show so much in world, but when you're there in the room and you're hearing the conversations, it's interesting. 50% is what you hear going on in the room. It just doesn't always get to the project.
All right, no, I believe it.
So
those conversations
there's one other area here. Go ahead.
Yep, there were probably 6 areas, I guess. The freshwater, we had the oceans, we had the deserts, swamplands, we had the polar bears. I know that was one of them. The mountains.
Arctic region.
Arctic regions, yeah, that's what we call that one. And then there were some forests. So we had, each child was partnered up in the classroom, and these teachers were just incredible because there were some times where they weren't able to get a lab, to be able to get into the lab so the kids could do their work because of assessment. And so, so they would actually...
Did we lose her?
Yeah, it sounds like a microphone got moved around.
Yeah. They would borrow, she was saying they would borrow computers from other classrooms, laptops. They would gather them up.
Other teachers, yep.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
I can hear you.
So they would do that,
and then
they would have laptops all over their rooms, that's when they couldn't get into the labs. Go ahead, Lauren.
Just do what you got to do.
Yes.
There's one other area on this island, but it was a summer school project, and they really only spent a couple weeks in there, a very few students, and it was an Everglades project, and very similar to this habitat type of thing, but it was concentrated just on the Everglades. They were doing a 4-week unit that where they're writing and they're reading and they're all-inclusive. Curriculum was around the Florida Everglades, and so that's just in another area. But there really was, they didn't have enough time to really do a whole lot. But it's in the corner over there if we wanted to look. And I don't know, with time going, we probably should skip on over to the high school. You think?
Let's go see the high school. I think we should go to about 10 after. That would be good timing.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Let's go ahead and we'll go to the first landmark. Okay, so this is their orientation area. The teacher that we have worked with in high school, we're getting ready to start. She's going to do 2 projects this year. She's a science teacher, and she gets it. She really gets it. And she finds things where it fits within their curriculum day, and she doesn't she doesn't do, cover it in one way, and this is a extra project. She lets go of things, and they are responsible to learn in this way and to be assessed in this way. Last year, when we were in Second Life, she did a project with her students at Tech Island that would stand for Teens of Escambia County. That was called the Virtual Museum, the Museum of Solid Waste. And there were 8 stations, and so in groups they researched and built in 3D ways to share the area within that museum that they were researching. And so then kids would, at the end of her projects, all the avatars, it's very powerful, being in the room when they're doing this. They tour all the different stations, and they've only researched one of the 8, but they are responsible for their assessment, for knowing all the factors that they need to be knowledgeable about in all of the areas. And so, and these students were AP students, and so they got very serious and had some great discussions, asking about things, writing down notes, because they knew they needed to learn from each other. So when they came here, she decided, rather than that project, that she wanted to do a project on biomes, and really heavy in science. We're looking for some people that we would love to do something in English language arts. But anyway, it really lends itself to science. And so she had 8 biomes that these students could choose from, and again worked in groups. And we've got some up in the air up here also, because there were 2 classes that did this. So I think we had to have 16 areas for them to build in. They had a rubric of things that they had to include. They had not just the things they had, but the quality that it had to be. And I think we posted this project on the blog and attached the documents that went with it.
Yeah, that's something
and
I was just
thinking. There were 2 of them.
Can you also just recite the name of your blog, of the About page for iTEC? Because I forgot to put that in at the beginning.
I can, and it's called iTEC. Let me put it in here. And it used to be Sleek, and we changed it. It's iTEC S.
Oops. Did we lose her?
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything, although she might have just been typing something in.
I don't see her in Hangout anymore.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, that's not good. But I like the awesome box that is definitely not a trap that I noticed over there. That's hilarious.
Can you put the link back into the Google, she says? Let's see.
Oh, if I have it. Is that the
I'll
last
go,
thing? No, it's not the last thing I typed.
I'll go back up. I've got it.
I think I might be able to just invite her back. Okay, I think this will work.
If you'd like to go ahead and maybe start flying around to take a look, all the biomes are, some of them are up above and some of them are down below. We had over here, if you can follow me, this is their building area, just like we did over at one of the other islands. They each had their little pads where they would do the building, and had the orientation around some different, not really the orientation, but this is more the building tutorials that we do with them. That's like the scripting and then how to make their rug and their table and the lamp. We try to keep it just like what we share with the teachers so that the teachers know what they're doing. You know, they have that background experience in that. As you can see over here to the side, these are a lot of animals that they would say, okay, this was before we did the cloud, and I think later on we decided to put the cloud in the sky, but before that we had all the little animal area over here corralled where they would come in and get their animals to put in their builds. But then you can fly over and look at any of the, yes, it is. We found some, we have really been very pleased with being able to find a lot of things out while hypergridding, and that teachers are very generous to share. Lauren, I'll let you take over from here. I just was showing them where they started on their building pads, and I shared about the animals before we started doing the cloud and the sky thing, and that now that they were about to go take a look at some of the biomes. So I'll be quiet.
Okay. I'm so sorry about that little. There were two in particular that we put the landmarks for. Is that a peacock?
I think so.
I feel like I'm at the zoo.
Yes, he is a loud peacock.
The second landmark is the tundra. If we go to the tundra and take a look, that was a great example. So that's the second link in the high school area.
Okay, I'm there. Feeling cold already.
Okay. Yes. So this one is divided. They have them. They have half of it in the summertime and half of it in the wintertime.
Oh, cute.
And they were told they could not put everything in a presentation board because there are those that would want to do that. And so they were only, I can't remember the number, she told them of slides that they were limited to in their presentation boards, and so they needed to put things in note cards and on signs and embed them, back into objects. And so these kids did a pretty good job of it. They had maybe, in terms of time, I think they had about 2.5 weeks of class time, 50-hour periods to work on things. So that included the initial learning how to do things. The high school kids, we give them we tell them where to grab a viewer, and we give them the settings after we've gotten past that initial point, and that they understand that this is a virtual campus, and that the school rules are the dress code, the school rule, everything is the same here. It's a campus, and then they need to behave in the same way, and that it can be a very cool thing everybody can enjoy, or they can ruin it for everybody in a hurry. So we tell them that we have chat boxes out to log,
Okay.
and that we don't, and that we're monitoring, and but that we know they will be responsible. And we pop in at night, but we let them do their homework at night because they've made good choices and work together well on things, sometimes very late at night. In fact, I even gave out my cell phone number to this group, and they would text me if they needed something. And when it got close to presentation day. All of these are going to go away soon. I'm glad we had the tour now because we're going to have to make space for the new year. I always hate it when we poof things, but it has to be done.
Well, you don't just poof them. You can
Kinda
save
like
them to
taking
an
down the bulletin
archive.
board.
Well, yeah, but you can save them to an archive, and they're always available
Yes.
for later, right? Yeah.
That's yes. Even if they don't belong to us, even if all the objects don't belong to us, can we save them?
Well, yeah, technically, I mean, you can say that this is within your school rights to save and archive the work that students have done. To some degree, there's actually a legal obligation that you can think of that way too. But yeah, I mean, especially if you would like to save the archive to show new students what the old students used to do, and then you can always have those
I was
archives
thinking
available.
technically, if they belong to other avatars, technically.
Well, but all the other
can
avatars
archive things
are
that-
your students, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you can save the archive. It's not a matter of I don't think there's any legal problem with saving an archive of stuff where you've gotten, say, free perm or full perm versions of stuff from other avatars.
Right.
No, I would say that
Right.
you know any good administrator would say you always have backups of your work at a minimum too. So that's an important aspect of it. Although I don't know
And
that
then
anybody's ever tested the legal grounds.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking whether it's even possible technically.
Oh
for
yeah,
me
Dreamland
to
Metaverse.
save-
I don't know what sort of web interface you have for your regions, but at a minimum, you should be able to request that Dreamland Metaverse save and archive. And I would believe that if it's all your, in a sense, under an intellectual property umbrella that's yours as a school, that they should be able to give you that file as well. Now,
Okay.
you're redistributing that file outside of your educational interest and outside of your grid. There might be issues with that.
Right.
But we can talk about that some other time. Let's continue with the grid.
Yes, let's go to the temperate grasslands.
Okay.
That's the next one. Okay, and this group did a good job also of very systematic of the things that they needed to include on the rubric. And this was just a very neat build. They were very particular. Built their house and just did a good job.
That is neat. Ooh, I think I'm too tall for the door.
Uh-oh.
Whoops.
I'll just cam inside. I can't duck. I don't know how to duck.
That is fun.
Well, can I page
In
down?
Minecraft, you can
If you
duck.
do
There we
function
go.
down,
Page down.
there you go.
Page down. Oh, still not quite squeezing through.
Oh, you got it.
You could fly maybe and fly real low.
Well, I think I'll just go sit on the table. If I can sit there, I
There
can
you
get
go.
a
Double
slide. There
click
we go.
in. There you go. You got it.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, the crouch walk wasn't working.
It's funny. That is
Yeah,
funny.
these are all important ecosystem topics.
Yes. Yeah. So we've learned a lot as we've been working in these different projects about management of providing things that they need and yet giving them lots of space so that it's their project, giving them as much choice as possible. And the kids just really do a good job of just putting it all together.
Well, and I get the impression, too, they're probably learning a lot of simple video or photo editing skills as well.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yeah. So, and there's some, now we didn't have it, last year I think we were using, not Singularity, we are this year, so they'll be able to do the media on a prim and be able to share web resources. Last year we were using Imprudence. So this year hopefully we will see them use some of that. And we've figured out and showed them, trying to teach them how to record voice, you know, and to put it up in their Moodle maybe with link, so that they're not limited and to the 10 seconds upload that you can do for voice. So hoping that maybe we can eventually move toward some machinima also that they would do and have within projects. It all takes time, though.
Good idea.
Yeah, it's right up their alley. They love to, you know, they've got devices they can record things if we can get them to the right place. But anyway, yep. So and this, we have the cloud here too. You can see up above that we do that here, and there are different avatars they can choose and customize their avatars. We put those up in the cloud also. They all come in as the same looking girl and the same looking boy, and within the first, you know, few minutes they're working on becoming their unique self.
Yeah, I bet that doesn't take very long.
No, it doesn't take long at all. So that's, we have one other island, but it is closed. It is Cordova Park. It's their private island where they're doing some things, the other school. But we feel very fortunate to have these 3 spaces. We're very fortunate that our administration, they get it. They get it and don't have any problem funding this each year. So we've been fortunate.
Excellent. Well, this sounds like a good place to close up. Thank you very much for the tour.
Great tour, thank you.
Yeah, some wonderful insights and lessons, and just some wonderful things to see from students building and teachers doing interactive and fun projects with them. So this is great. This is great. Anything you want to say in closing as well?
You know what? I just want to thank you, Stephen, for organizing, you know, all the different Vibe tours, and great to have in OpenSim and across the different grids. So important for educators to have a place to get together and share, because we all have such different ideas and learn from each other too. So thanks so much for heading this up and making these happen. Appreciate it. Yes, and hopefully we'll be able, the PD Islands will be open. Hopefully that we'll see some people that maybe will come to see us, and if we have some events that are things that anybody can come to, we will be sure to share those.
Okay, excellent. Did you get the website for your blog stated?
Yeah, let me put it in. I think I put it in chat.
And then do you have a Facebook? No, go ahead.
We don't have a Facebook group. We've talked about that, but we don't have one. We have one for our department, but we don't have one, and we should have one. Our blog is iTEC SD, as in school district, .edublogs.org. And that's something we probably need to pursue, the Facebook.
Well, I think it's just kind of a nice way to advertise events if you're going to be doing more social stuff.
It is a great way.
Wonderful.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and I hope that means it'll save everything, and then we're all good to go. So we'll find out.
All righty. Thank you. It's great to meet you, Kim.
Good meeting you.
Okay, yeah, so we're not broadcasting anymore. Oh, wait, no, yes, we are. Sorry to stop.